freedom of not taking sides. Now, when I talk about taking sides, it's not that I necessarily mean taking sides in a debate or in a political environment or a philosophical discussion or taking a view on one side of a philosophy versus the other. These all are structured in logic and thought and belief and so forth, but it's not exactly what I'm talking about, although it can play into all of those. What I'm really talking about when I say not taking sides is something simple and available in your own psyche right now. And that is, without realizing it, we're often trying to find which side to take. We're trying to find out, should I move toward it or should I move away from it? We're trying to find out, should I solve the problem this way or should I solve the problem that way? We're trying to feel into like what side we're on as far as how to practice or whether to practice through intention, whether to practice through surrender. We also feel into, or maybe it's not so much feeling into, it's a little bit more like identifying with the tendency to take a side in reference to interactions with other people in the moment. And it can change. That same person and a similar type of interaction could have a different kind of tendency to move to the other side the next time or whatever. So these things are fluctuating all the time. They're dynamic, but if you look closely, you'll see that you may well be doing this all the time. That there's something that feels like a gut instinct that you're taking a side on what's happening right now, taking a position. If it sounds too heady, then what I would say is feel into your experience and see if it doesn't feel like there's some tension there. A kind of tension. A tension with your surroundings. Tension internally. Tension in regard to what you're thinking about or what's going on in your life. If there is tension there, then you're taking a side. There's some identifying with a side of something. And it could be more identifying with the side of the problem, more identifying with the side of the solution. But there's an identity aspect to this, and that's important to see. Once you see this, and once you can feel into what I'm talking about, this tendency to take a side, and it doesn't even matter what you're taking a side on to notice this. You can notice this tendency even if you don't realize what exactly it is that you're taking a side on. Because, in fact, the narrative of what you're taking a side on is secondary. The primary experience is a kind of non-conceptual experience or a preconceptual experience of taking a viewpoint. But the taking of a viewpoint in regard to your experience, your environment, or a situation itself requires, or I might just say it's causally related to a sense of self, a sense of separate self, a sense of separateness. The view and the separate one are intertwined. The sense of a view, the sense of a separate one are intertwined. So once you feel into this and see this happening, then you have an ability to actually recognize what it is right now to not take sides. It's very simple. Don't overcomplicate it. If the mind is saying, I don't get it, I don't find this in my experience, or analyzing what I'm saying, then just feel into the feel of those thoughts rather than the thoughts themselves. Does it feel like you're taking a side? A side to, toward, or away from what I'm saying? Or a side that understands what I'm saying, or a side that doesn't understand what I'm saying? Or a side that believes this, or a side that doesn't believe this? Do you see how that works? The mind tends to be binary in some sense. And the identity with that binariness itself is fixating. So when you see this, again, you really only need to see it right now and feel into it and see like, oh, I do feel that urge to take a side. I do feel like I'm holding a side. I'm holding a view. I'm holding a position somehow in regard to reality and myself, in regard to whatever this is, the situation. Not the sense gates so much, but a very subtle interpretation of them, a subtle interpretation of what's happening now that feels like your life, right? If you feel like you're taking some position in regard to that, some side in regard to that, first feel into that and notice what it feels like. And then see if you can recognize that there's another side to that. Probably. If it feels like pushing, there's a pull that you're overlooking. If it feels like too much intention or doership, then there's a surrender that you're overlooking, perhaps. And that's the other side. But I'm not saying to flip from one side to the other. I'm saying that you can actually find this very simple truth that there actually are no sides. There can be a feeling of being on a side. There can be a sense of the one who is on a side, but you won't find sides. There actually are no sides anywhere. There's no binary nature of anything. This is neither on nor off, conservative nor liberal, awake nor asleep, close nor far, heavy nor light. So notice you have this immediate access to that which takes no sides. And it can immediately be put into contact with, so to speak, the sense of taking a side. And because the natural reality doesn't take sides, it's free of any fixation, it does this kind of alchemical transformation when it comes into contact with the sense of taking a side, taking a position, taking a view. You can, in a sense, hold these at the same time, but more importantly, seeing that the not taking sides is primary in that it's uncaused. Taking sides feels like you're doing that. You're efforting somehow. You're selfing somehow. This that I'm pointing to that has no sides, it's more like coming forward to carry you into spontaneity. And that is in the senses. That is in the sense fields. And it can show you now what it is to not take any side. And now, and now, and now. And the implications are actually pretty vast, but you may not see them right away in your more external or conventional life. But you have to start here. You have to start in the psyche. You have to start where the mind is trying to construct a self taking a position on anything, and realize that's an overlay. It's not really happening. And with that, you have freed up somehow your attention to allow that non-inherent experience, that fluid, mysterious, clear, unencumbered experience to come forward and show you again and again and again that there is nowhere that you can fixate. There is no fixation. And there's no one that can fixate. Because those are two sides as well. The one that fixates and the fixation. The seeker and the sought. These are other versions of sides. And this has no sides. It has no aspects. And that's freedom.